I'm very excited about this next speaker. Her name is Kala Al-Ma'luli. She's the head of marketing MENA at Twitter. And, social media has turned our world upside down. Hi, Kala. How are you?
Yeah, hi, I'm very good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Kala, I know you're going to be talking about branding in a completely different digital world. And I love it because as I was reading the synopsis and the agenda, I read the word and the keywords, I should say, digital relationships, which you know all about. You're going to tell us about how do we make them matter. Take it away.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here today and to hear from the different speakers so far. Thank you for having me. I'm going to start sharing my screen. So thank you again. I'm Carla. I'm the head of business marketing at Twitter, handling the whole MENA region, focusing on UAE based in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and the whole MENA region. And today I'm going to take you through the 7 strategies for brands leading the conversation on Twitter. 2020 has been a year of unprecedented global challenges for everyone, and brands also have not been excluded at all. There have been never been a more challenging time for marketeers, and right now, many leaders are unsure of how to stay connected with their customers. Everyone is searching for answers, and brands looking also like for answers, and for brands looking to their peers and partners for their insights and inspirational for them to act accordingly. At Twitter, we've seen how conversations can make a difference. And we've been humbled and very inspired by the brands who have stepped up over the past few months to lead the way for others. Uh, we are shining a light here on the practices of the conversation leaders, brands who inspire others to maintain their relevance by shifting their marketing strategies or sometimes launching something new in the months ahead. These brands have not only made a real difference in their communities, but also they've taken action to strengthen their relevance over both the short and the long term. So I'm introducing today the 7 strategies, the conversation playbook to empower more brands to find their voice. And we've created 7 strategies that leaders of the conversation are using to push their brands forward. Drawing on the best practices from the most effective activations on Twitter, we're going to show you some case studies, and this playbook will give you uh, some leaders' insights and inspiration to navigate through this moment that you are all living through. The first one is how to lead by listening. And leading brands take the time to understand their customers' mindset first before jumping into help. So now more than ever, people are telling brands what's important to them and how they would like to be served. So leading brands take the time to understand their customers' mindset and to before jumping in, as I already said. So what are people telling brands on Twitter and how they are telling it? As we can see here, people are telling brands that they don't want business as usual. There is only 7% of people on Twitter, they want to hear the usual tone, let's say, from a brand. They want their brands to be credible because and to communicate and keep tweeting, as we can see here. So you have 89% of people on Twitter, they think it's really important for brands to provide reliable information, and 77% of them, they really want brands to still communicate during the crisis. And for that, on Twitter, we have different solutions, and Emirates Airlines has been leading by using these solutions on Twitter. But not also to be credible, but also they want them to be, they want their brands to be supportive and very people-centric. And as you can see here from the insight we did, 45% of the people, they want the brands to be supportive, and 82% they want them to be very people-centric, let's say. And Mobily has been leading as a brand by doing that. The second one is lead with purpose. More and more brands are explicitly choosing are explicitly choosing brands on the positive impact they have on the society. And being purpose-driven is no longer an exception for anyone. There has never been a more critical time for brands now to articulate their ideas and, most importantly, to act on them. And here we can see like 80% of people on Twitter agreed that brands should be communicating using brand purpose campaigns. So people, they expect brands to lead with purpose-driven campaigns. But also, you can identify your brand's place in this moment by clarifying the 3 Ps, which we all know, like first, the purpose, second, the people, and the third one is the pledge. And here Aramco has been a leading brand using using our solutions on Twitter by clarifying the 3 Ps. So purpose, what guides your brand and what role do you play in consumers' lives? The people, how are you supporting those who have been impacted by the crisis? And the third one, which is very important, is the pledge. And here, how are you giving back in a way? And we saw a lot of brands that used, they have been on Twitter and they used our solutions through campaigns that are focused on the third piece. Here we have an example of MasterCard Middle East. The next slide. So here, as you can see, is once you identify your 3 Ps, you have to activate on your brand's purpose. So this is like activating a brand, how to activate a brand purpose on Twitter by embodying a point of view and then demonstrating before communication, establishing relevance, earn advocacy, and then the brand activism, which is very, very important. The third one is how to lead by example. Conversation leaders find ways to give more, even in the face of a challenging business environment. And here you can see, based on our research, 67% of people on Twitter, they want to know about how brands are supporting those in need, including their own employees. So while people understand the challenges brands are facing, they still expect brands to meet their needs and those of others too. And here's how your brand can lead by example. So we've put like some do's and don'ts. Like the do's is to provide useful information to help people navigate and to broadcast any initiatives. The don'ts, don't make promises you can't keep. Don't view misfortune as a marketing opportunity, and don't shun interactions with frustrated customers. And the Toll Arabia has been leading on doing that, has been very conversation leaders that tend to use these rules. The fourth one is lead with something new.
When can I go in?
When you lead with something new, so brands trying to launch something new face unique challenges. Many launches and many plans have been postponed or have been pushed back or moved or have been moved up. So during this crisis. So what we want to show here that it is still possible to introduce a new brand, and it is still possible to launch something new for a brand, either like a message or a whole new brand or launch new products successfully during a downturn. So that's why you need to provide your followers the 5 best practices of conversation leaders on Twitter.
All right. Carla, thank you so much for that. I just want
Thank you.
to invite our audience, if they want to continue networking or ask Carla more questions. Unfortunately, we can't have a Q&A directly, but you can network with all our speakers in the networking tab or the people's tab in, hop in, hop out. Carla, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for
Thanks.
being here.